I don't hear anything. All right. Well, greetings, everybody. Welcome once again to the Rec Poker Podcast, sponsored as always by Running Aces Casino, Racetrack, and Hotel, and website AMP. In this chat's edition of the podcast, we get to talk to the one and only Veronica Brill. Super excited to have her on the podcast. We're going to talk Mike Postle, Poker Go, social issues raised because some of the actions of those in the poker industry, and a few other things. Cleeton, we'll talk about him as well. So really excited about this. But let's first quickly introduce our panel. My name is Steve Fredland. I go by Rec Poker Steve in the Poker Stars home game. And in honor of being on location in Council Bluffs, Iowa for the Run Good Poker Series, I offer the quote from Field of Dreams: "Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa."
And I'm Chris Jones. I'm 5x5 on Poker Stars and Twitter. And I was really excited this weekend. I played my first live tournament for real. So it was a fun weekend.
I'm Jim Reed, Bluffsterini in the home game, and you can learn about me and everyone else on the Wrecking Crew by going to rec.poker/crew. And I'm just excited about being able to maybe book a flight to Vegas sometime soon.
I am John Somsky. I am also muted.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
He Somskied it.
You did it, John. It's really
I'm John Somsky, Poker Geek Gammon everywhere, and I have a quote from Mike Caro. Aces are larger than life and greater than mountains.
Oh, impressive. All right. Well,
I feel like this is an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Like, was I supposed to bring some sort of introduction?
Yes. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi.
My name is John, and I'm a pokerholic.
No,
My
for
name is
sure.
Veronica, and I'm recovering from No Limit Hold'em. I'm currently now moving on to PLO. So.
Oh, that'll be really good for your health to make that transition. Congratulations on that. Well,
I'm
yeah,
seeing
as
a
we mentioned,
cardiologist, so I'm going to be okay. Yeah.
well, our Airbnb is right next to a hospital, so we're pretty excited about that, just in case it comes to that this week for any of us, because there is some
Perfect.
Omaha
So if you
action.
don't go broke in the casino, you're going to go broke by going to the hospital. So
Right.
it's one way or the other, we're going to get you.
Either way, we're full on degenerate, so that's a good thing. Well, welcome to the show. I mean, it's great to have you on here. We have so many things we could talk about, so it's sort of this wide spectrum of thing. But I kind of want to start with your beginning, if you don't mind, a little bit. I know you told the story, but kind of how did you get into the whole poker world to start with? Was it through playing? Was it reporting? Like, where did all of this Angry Pollock on Twitter poker playing start?
Well, Angry Pollock, the name, it derives from just being Polish and having a very loud family and people coming over to my house and being like, "Why are you guys all yelling at each other?" And I'm like, "We're not. Why are you guys so angry? We're not. This is just the way we talk." So it's a little play on that. I'm just loud. I've always been like this, and people think I'm yelling and angry, and I'm not. Sometimes I am, but mostly not. And I guess I started poker because my first boyfriend that I dated throughout most of my 20s was a poker player, a terrible one. now that I've played against him and talked to him about poker, but back then the game was easier. So he was gone playing a lot, and I was like, well, I can do anything that he can do. So I started getting interested in it, thinking about what it is, what kind of game it is. And then the very first home I bought in Canada, there is a poker show or channel in Canada. I think it's just called like the Poker Channel or something, but it shows like all these old British poker TV shows, like all the old cash games with like Devilfish and I was just, so this old satellite dish was on this house, and that's like the only channel that I could get on that satellite dish because I was too broke to buy cable. And so somehow I got this one channel, and I just watched poker like 24/7 when I wasn't working. And then I started going to the casino.
Oh, that's so awesome. So I know you have like a math stats background. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, is that something? Yeah, I'm an actuary. I'm an actuary by trade. So I need to hear about your math and stats background.
I would say that like the struggle is in the math. It's not my strength, but I've grown to love, I like part of my job is data science, but it's not the majority of my job. My undergrad's in nursing and I haven't finished my master's, but it's in predictive analytics and data science. So I do apply that in my job right now as a systems analyst. So
I love
part
that,
of
yeah.
my job. But I would say like I'm not doing any regression analysis. I'm not doing anything crazy. I do more like day-to-day operational analytics for decisions they need to make on the fly.
I love that. I could pick your brain for hours on that. That's what I did in the corporate world for many, many years. But I don't like that you call regression analysis crazy. But other than that,
I mean, it is crazy when you're just like getting the mean for people all day. Like it's funny how much you learn in school and then people are like, I just want to know the average. And you're like, stop saying
I know.
average. It hurts
Thank
my
you.
head.
Yes,
But
thank you.
yeah, I mean, like I think one of my favorite things about analytics is just visually being able to take data and make it palpable for the person who needs to make the decision and just understanding that data. So,
And I know that's part of the story of the Stones Gambling Hall situation, right? Because you have an understanding of mathematics, of statistics, some of those things just weren't adding up, right? So let's talk a little bit about maybe how did you get into that gig? You know, what was your job with Stones and kind of how did you get started in that stream?
yeah, so a guy named Roger Bailey started Stones Live, and I was sort of an acquaintance with him, sort of friends at the time. We had a bit of a falling out because he's a dirtbag, but you know that's a different story. But he told me he
Other
was
than
doing this.
that, yeah.
I mean, like it's poker, like they're everywhere, right? But
Yeah.
not everyone, but there's like they seep into the system.
Mhm.
But so he started Stones Live, and I was like, hey, I used to host beauty pageants. I had a radio show. I was a DJ. Like I can do some entertainment. Put me in there with a pro and let's have a show. So he said, okay, can you find a co-host? And so my friend Jake Rosensteel, he still lives out in Sacramento. He played poker professionally for a while, and I begged him for days and days and days to be my co-host. He finally agreed. And it worked out most of the time. We argued a lot, but most of the time it worked out.
Okay, so you're doing the live stream of this thing, and I know we're just kind of fast forwarding through the story pretty quick, but you know, there's a guy in the stream, Mike Postle, right? And you sound like you played with him quite a bit yourself.
He didn't start out cheating, right? He started cheating like a couple years in. So I saw like this very averaged, middle-aged, so I'm gonna just quote like Wired magazine here, this moon-faced cherub, I think they called him, or something like cherubic or whatever. But like, you know, he was just like this average guy. He was a nice guy in the poker room, liked to have fun, was lots of action, but was like barely a break-even 2-5 player. And then one day he's propelled to this god status. A lot of it didn't make sense. So I have some really good social circles within poker, and that includes like a lot of high stakes regs. And they're successful for long periods of time because they have very similar attributes. And he just didn't fit that mold. Like he was cognitively unaware of what he was doing, and he was unable to talk me through the process of a hand he was playing in. And he was just, I don't know if you watched any interviews with him and Justin Karitis, that interview is just like cringeworthy. He's so cognitively unaware of what is going on. And even a 1-2 player who's not that good at the game still understands, like still can walk you through why they did what they did or what they were thinking or whatever it is. And he was unable to do any of that. And every time I talked to him, he was just, it didn't make sense that he was as successful as he was. And then I watched him play. He was not playing in a manner which would make you consistent money. You would be having one great heater and then dusting off your stack like for the next 9 months. It just, none of it made sense to me. And then yeah, the very last time I watched him play, I had already gone to Stones and Justin Coritis. I had already done everything I could, and I was like, Justin Coritis is incompetent. He can't see a cheater in front of him. I'm pretty sure this guy's cheating. I'm just gonna let poker players decide. People who are more competent than me in poker.
And so you, I mean, there was a process there where you brought it to Stones and kind of gave them an opportunity to investigate or discover. And then at some point you just said, well, clearly nothing's going to happen here, so I need to take the initiative. What was it kind of in you? Because not everybody has that. I think there's definitely a courageous element to that. But like, what is it in you that sort of said, I have to bring this to light? Because there could have been other people that maybe had the same understanding.
Yeah, a lot of people thought he was cheating. A
Right.
lot of people were gossiping about him cheating in the poker room.
So what do you
I
think
was
it was
just-
with you that drove you to the point of saying, I can't stay quiet?
I'm stupid. I don't know. Like I didn't have the foresight to see how fucking miserable my life was going to be for the next 2 years. But seriously, I honestly thought when I tweeted that everyone would be like, "Well, let's objectively look at the data." You know, that's exactly what I
Right.
thought. I'm just absolutely an idiot. I had no idea that I'd have threats against me, that he would create like fucking 100 new Twitter accounts to practically stalk me. Like it's just been a miserable experience for me. So yeah, I was just like an idiot. I'd had no idea. I just assumed, I've always just wanted to do the right thing. Have I always been a perfect person in my life? No. But I want to just do the right thing. I just think in my life, I should be calling out things that are wrong, and just doing the right thing. That's about it. I don't think I'm a special person. I just can't like sit around and let someone cheat. It's just not my thing. I'm just going to call it out.
Well, you know, I think from the whole entire poker community, you really do need to be commended because that took a lot of guts, particularly just having enough confidence to say, you know, I really think there's something going on here. And when you brought the accusations out, I thought you did it in a very fair way, saying, guys, take a look at this. Something seems to be off to me here. Can you look at it as well? It wasn't a, wow, this guy is a dirty scumbag. He's definitely cheating. It was a very good manner. And I think that took a lot of guts. And I think the entire poker community owes you a debt of gratitude. And I hope it will help other people do similar things in the future when it comes to play. Well, first, I'd hope it never becomes necessary in the future, but secondly, that other people can do it as well.
I very much appreciate that. And I do think, you know, looking back at all of this, we did have a positive outcome, a positive resolution. I know that the DOJ is basically incompetent and nothing will be done to him. But I do think that the poker community has now been made aware of a cheater. We also have other live streams that have beefed up their security. And yeah, I mean, that I still think there was a good outcome to all of this.
And I'm just kind of curious because I know Steve also, I'm always interested in how Steve's background in actuarial math and that kind of thing helps him study poker. Do you think there's something about the way that your mind works in that way that just made this kind of easier for you to say, hey, something's not right here? Or was there a way to look at it in that light that sort of made it easier for you or someone with your background?
Well, I just think I hate like tooting my own horn in these kinds of spots. I just think that I guess a good data scientist will think outside the box and take a lot of different variables into consideration and not look at things in a vacuum. So if you look at each individual hand in a vacuum, or maybe one show, you'll say, okay, he's running good. Oh, I can see this spot. You know, some people would play it like this. But if you look at it big picture, the pattern starts to not make sense. So I guess that might be, yeah, I feel like you're giving me too much credit. Yeah, I was just pissed off and he was cheating.
Well, that's the bottom line, right? I mean, you called it out. What I love that you pointed out there is you did change some of the dynamics of poker. You did change how some things are being done. You improved the game. You improved the security. You improved the confidence people will have in playing on a live stream because of that. Because you know, it's almost like, it's a horrible analogy, but like if a plane crashes or something, then security is ramped up.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like that too. Like that's the safest time to fly. So I think some people do feel more confident to play a live stream knowing that you caught him in that, or that you pointed out what he was doing. Chris, did you have
Yeah.
something? Or go ahead, Veronica.
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, like with the Wired magazine article, I think it really brought the public, the general public, into the realm of poker and kind of the thoughts of like how cheating could happen. And it gained a lot of, I guess, like traction outside of the poker world. I don't know if that was good or bad, but it's unfortunate when poker is only, there's only a light on poker when there's cheating. So,
But I think,
But
you know,
Chris-
sorry, Chris, one more thing quick, but I think, you know, along that line, I mean, I think we want to be a trusting people, right? And this goes across the globe. We want to trust people. We want to trust poker players, but you know what? Cheating happens everywhere in life. I work for Fortune 500 companies. There's people cheating to get jobs. There's people,
yeah.
you know, laundering money. There's people embezzling. There's people doing all kinds. People are cheating. Not everybody. It's only a minority of people, but it does happen everywhere. And I think the fact that you called it out, I think hopefully sends ripple effects everywhere. Like, you know, there has to be some accountability there. And I feel horrible that you had to take the brunt of that for being the one to call that out. But I'm glad somebody did, frankly, for the sake of poker.
Yeah. And looking back, I watched a podcast with Joey Ingram, Johnny Vibe's new podcast. It's actually pretty good. I'm really impressed. I wanted to message him to tell him how good his new podcast is.
Would you say it's your second favorite behind Rec Poker? Is it probably your second favorite? Yeah,
obviously,
okay.
this is the best one. But you send me $20 after the show, okay? But
only for those ears. Remember, for those ears.
So Joey was saying how it like ruined his life, and it just fucking breaks my heart that Joey went through such a horrible experience throughout this whole thing. Like he won 2 awards, but then at what cost? You know, what was this all worth? Like for me, I look at it as a positive outcome. Like Mike now has to pay me. He owes, I think, like over 60,000 in legal fees to Todd and me. But what was it all for? I've been tormented for 2 years. Joey Ingram, it ruined his life and his relationship. Todd has been, you know, threatened many times because he does his show and it's what he loves to do. And it's just, it's sad in a way. I don't know. I'm reflecting on it now and like not as happy as I was initially. Still happy that we uncovered this cheating, but I still have a lot of sadness around the whole thing and a little regret, I guess. I just don't think anything is worth like someone's life being ruined.
Yeah, and actually that kind of answered a bit of my question about sort of the aftermath and the impact of this. So maybe shift gears a little to some of the some of the positive outcomes, and I'd like to kind of shift gears to talking about Poker After Dark a little, and just sort of wondering about. I mean, you had sort of this incident. It brought a lot. I mean, I think a lot of you know, turmoil but you've been doing this work with Stones, and then tell me how did you get involved working on Poker After Dark, and what's it like to work on one of the most iconic poker brands that there really is?
Yeah, that's an interesting story, and I'm still kind of in disbelief that I'm on that show. I have a YouTube channel, everybody. I know you're all shocked. With 3,000 followers. So step aside, everybody. I'm kind of a big deal. But so Brent from Poker Go, I think he's one of my subscribers, but he saw my YouTube channel and he's like, "Hey, I really like, you know, your interviews. I like your style. We're wanting to have a host again on Poker After Dark, but we want someone who's kind of got their own opinions about things. We want someone who understands poker. We don't want you to just stand there in an evening gown and hold a microphone." So they asked me to audition. And I went in there dressed up quite fancy, like a blazer, tight shirt, tight jeans. And they liked me. They asked me to do a bunch of stuff like pretending to interview Phil Hellmuth, pretending to do color commentary on a final table and stuff like that. But then they told me like, hey, we want a casual Veronica, like Veronica on your YouTube channel. So it's kind of a different take this time. And I'm not saying that the other hosts or hostesses didn't do a good job, but they just wanted like kind of to revise that role. So I had like so I auditioned, they offered me to record for a season, and it's kind of season by season. So at any point they could say, okay, well, we're done with you. And so to go back to like, how does it feel to be on this show? So I grew up in poker, watching Poker After Dark. Like I used to wait, I don't know what time it was on here back in the cable days, but I used to wait until midnight till that show was on, and it would play from like midnight to 1 a.m. And I remember it was Monday through Friday, and it was like a sit and go back then. I think it was like a 30K buy-in or 20K buy-in, and like Last Man Standing at the very end. And I loved that show. It was like my favorite poker show. And so just to be on it, it's like the bucket list item. I checked it, and people are like, oh, what are you going to do if, they tell you they don't want you? I'm like, are you crazy? I was on there. Like, right. I'm forever going to be on this show now. Like, yeah, what kind of a great life will that be when I'm like 90 and I tell, right. People about my life? Like, I used to be on Poker After Dark. Oh, I did so much cool shit. Yeah. So it's amazing. And the staff there, to say that they're amazing is an understatement. And like, I know that people are like, it's not a thing anymore, but it is still a thing. I'm in my 40s. I'm in my mid 40s. And I just got a TV spot, like that tells you what they're looking for and how they're shifting what they deem as quality. They're not looking for a 22-year-old in an evening gown. They're looking for someone who's got a bit of a personality. Fortunately, they picked me, and they don't care about age anymore. And like, I just think it's like an awesome opportunity. I'm so grateful to them. Maury, the guy who runs Poker Go, he really has an eye for, which poker players are going to be fun in the show. And he wants me to joke around with people, kind of wants me to needle them a bit. He wants me to bring out their personalities. So it's been a fun process. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I remember the first season that I recorded, I had a bad day, and Maury took me out for breakfast, and he was like, we hired you because we want you. We don't want you to be who you think we want. So just be you, just, talk to people, joke around with them, just be yourself. And it just like completely changed the way I interviewed people. And now I'm going back for a third season in August.
I love that. Yeah. And sorry about my voice. I was talking to John Somsky all day, so I've lost it, but it's authenticity.
It's
with you.
really horrible.
I know. It's awful, talking. Right? At least I had a face for radio, but my voice was okay. Now I got them both, and it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But
how are you still on this show?
I don't know. They haven't kicked me off yet. It's coming. There's going to be a coup. Yeah. Maybe you could leak
There's
the news.
There's like two security guards coming in through his front door right now. He's like going to be dragged off the show halfway through.
1 minute, I'm almost done. It's Veronica. Just a second. No, but I think with you and, again, you never know. I don't know you. I'm not in your personal life. There's always the facade of everybody. Like who are people really like? But with you, my perspective is it's authenticity. Like that's what I love. It's what I love about everybody that's part of Rec Poker. They're just authentically who they are. And I think if Poker After Dark, if they can celebrate that in you, and you can model that for everybody else, like you don't have to be the way it's always been. You can be you. You can go on Twitter and wear the ears and have fun and be yourself. I think the world is dying to be authentic. I think so many people. I'm a business coach. I'm a personal coach. People are dying to just be authentic. We all live in this facade of what we're supposed to live, what our environment expects of us, what marketing tells us we should we should own, what people tell us we should think. And I think people are so hungry to just be authentically themselves. And I think you bring that to the show. And I think the fact that they've given you the freedom to be authentically you, I think is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. No, I agree with that. I think I follow a lot of, I guess, influencers or creators on TikTok or different social media. And I don't always follow people who have the most followers. I follow people who I feel like have a lot of vulnerability and authenticity and just have like a unique niche thing of what they're doing. So yeah, I get that. And they have given me free reign to be myself. Have they edited out a lot of that? Yes.
I mean, be yourself, but to a point.
Yeah, I mean, like the show still goes on NBC. You know, the show still needs to be professional. So, like, the Dan Bilzerian interview did not make it.
Yeah.
And like, there were some interviews. There were two that were awkward, but Dan Bilzerian was one of them. Most of them are good, but some of them even went into like Postle stuff because the people who were just from this Postlegate stuff, and they edit that out. Of course, they didn't want that. But yeah, Mike the Mouth Matisow, I talked to him about Mike Postle because I was like, oh, you give anyone any soft interviews lately,
Right.
and like, and then we had actually a really nice conversation, and I would say we made up, and I actually really like him. Did you guys listen to that interview?
I tried. I got through maybe 10 minutes of it. That's all I could do. Chris was nodding his head.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that interview is I asked Mike about it. I bugged him, and he told me that he was basically giving Mike an opportunity to talk. And he's like, sometimes when you let these people just talk, they will bury themselves. And so he was just like kind of pandering to him to get him to talk. And looking back, and as a person who likes to interview, I don't like to pander to people at all. But if that's kind of his way of, I think that would be the only way he could get Mike to talk. So I kind of get that. We had a chat about it. I'm not mad at him. And he was really lovely to interview. And I actually had a nice time with him. He doesn't shut up, but he's a pretty lovely person from what I could see from my experience with him.
He does have a nickname, so that may be a part of it. Right, exactly.
Oh God. The last World Series of Poker, I was on a $1,500 Omaha 8 or better limit tournament. End of day one, he was for 8 hours sitting at the table next to me, and he wouldn't shut up. And I swear he does it on purpose just to tilt people. But yeah, it's terrible.
Well, and bottom line is it's terrible. Well, congratulations on that whole deal. I think that's just super exciting, and I hope you can keep crushing it on there, and people honor the fact that you are being authentic and who you are, and that leads to more authenticity. But you did mention Bilzerian, so I do want to shift gears a little bit and talk about some of the stuff that's happening. It's happening in our world, in our society at large, of course, but happening now in the poker industry. And if we don't want to talk about specific names, we don't have to, but I do want to
let's talk about specific names.
All right. Well, I want to start just kind of fair enough. Let's go.
So my Bilzerian interview is supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out this week. GG Poker is like really getting sensitive with, where poker Twitter is going. So they're like, oh, we don't want you to get, we don't want your audience to be mad at you. I'm like, fuck that. Like, put it out. I wasn't going there and like washing Bilzerian's feet and feeding him grapes. I fucking interviewed him. Like, what do you mean? Like, who's going to be mad at me? Why? Like, Barbara Walters interviewed lots of people who no one liked. But I have to say, Dan Bilzerian changed my mind about a lot of things. I spent like 6 hours with him. And not like the entire time in his face, but like I was at his house for 6 hours, and I had a lot of conversations with him. And I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he changed my mind about the way I think about him.
Can you go on and elaborate on that?
Yeah. So
yeah,
I like, obviously in his younger days, he was bitches, coke, parties and all that stuff. And he told me he's reflected on his life a lot. And when he was younger, he thought that stuff would fulfill him or give him fulfillment. And he started realizing that it was all empty and it was making him miserable. And he didn't know what to do to fill that void. And then he started realizing it's time with his friends, time with his family, quality time. He's now in a long-term relationship. He's mostly off of social media, except when he's calling people,
Right.
a garden
Yes.
instrument.
Instrument. Yes.
But I can tell he didn't open up to me like that initially. It wasn't like, because he said some shit that I was like, you guys need to edit that out because no, I'm not here for this. But I will say that, like, I think he was authentic when he talked to me about his growth and opened up to me about, I asked him about that incident where he was accused of kicking a girl in the face. And this is the one thing that frustrates me with Vanessa, because she's giving Phil Nagy this like really hard pass and being like, well, he's my friend. Well, they do this. Well, it's okay when Phil's doing it. But like, why aren't you giving the same consideration to Dan Bilzerian? Dan Bilzerian's had a lot of growth. I'm not here to defend Dan Bilzerian. I'm saying from her perspective, if she's giving this leniency to Nagy, she should be giving the same leniency to Bilzerian. And the only thing I have with her is I think she's a hypocrite with the way she treated Gigi Poker and Bilzerian. And then when it's in her backyard, when her pockets are lined with high roller events, she's really, really defensive and then blocks anybody who like challenges her in any way. Because I was still following her. First she unfollowed me and then she blocked me. Anyway, Bilzerian had a lot of time to reflect. I think he's a different person now. The kicking in the face. His girlfriend was being attacked by this girl. And he was trying to defend his girlfriend. He didn't kick her in the face. If he would have kicked her in the face, he would have been like arrested by the police. The police like figured out that this woman was attacking his girlfriend. He was trying to get her away from his girlfriend. His girlfriend's like tiny. And I can see it. Like, I've been in clubs where girls were trying to fight me. I believe him. He had no reason to lie to me. He could have just not talked about it, but I sincerely believe him. And then he talked to me about throwing the girl off the roof, where it was a paid gig. It was like an advertisement for, I can't remember what company, but the girl was signed up for it, and they had done it like 4 times previously, just trying it out before they actually recorded it. And then the last time she like grabbed onto him and then broke her ankle. So he said that like they were both paid to do that, and it was part of the thing that she agreed to. So I'm like,
So yeah, I mean, I think for me, I look at that, and again, I'm not as close to it as you are, of course, but there's a pattern there, right? And so I think the fact that that you see growth, I think is a good thing. The fact that he has an answer to some of those things is a good thing. But I think as an outsider, I think we need to see something publicly that makes us feel differently about him, because I think for a lot of us, there's still what we know is this pattern. What we know is this sort of contribution to systemic misogyny. And I think that's where, at least from my perspective, what I don't like about this is even with the Nagy stuff, is that we say, well, he was just joking around. Well, to me, that's almost worse, because that means we're okay with a systemic misogyny. So, talk a little bit about that, like with Dan. Like, is there anything Dan can do? I mean, he probably doesn't care, right? He's got all the money in the world. But is there anything that he cares enough to tell you, right? He cared enough to try to convince you that these were accidents, that I've grown. I mean, so something in him is either he is making it up to try to convince you because he thinks that'll help his brand, or he actually cares enough about you. So I'm curious, like, yeah,
I will tell you that I don't think that Dan Bilzerian gives a fuck about improving his brand, obviously. Right?
So why does he tell you?
Because I think it was the truth. I think he told me that because it was the truth. Because I think
but he doesn't feel he feels no obligation to tell the world then, because he doesn't care what people think, kind of.
I think I could tell he was really standoffish when I first got to his house. I can tell that he's really up to here with media, with people. I know that he knows he's built this image of himself, And now he's reflecting and kind of improving his life, wrote a book, and he still is, like, in a lot of ways the way you picture him. You know, he's got a gun room and like lots of women running around, but like, did I see him acting sexist? No. He was with his girlfriend the entire time. The girls are there willingly. I mean, I, as a feminist, I believe that you can kind of do what you want as a woman. If you want to be a sex worker, I support that. If you want to be a lawyer, I support that. Like, they were there. Who am I to say that they shouldn't be there? But the whole point of this is not, oh, Veronica thinks Dan Bilzerian's a good person. No,
Right,
this
right.
is not, like, Dan Bilzerian is just Dan Bilzerian. I think that the point is that he's reflected on life and he's improving, he's changing, he's thinking about what he's done. The point is, why this all got brought up is because Vanessa has double standards, and she did not give the same, I guess, consideration to GG Poker as she's giving for ACR.
Mhm.
And I've had a lot of people message me since her and I started this Twitter battle, and I'm pretty convinced that she has burner accounts. Suddenly, all these new accounts. Same thing Mike Postle does too. But I think that she knew that Phil Nagy was pervy and a misogynist. I'm pretty fucking sure. I'm pretty sure he was in her DMs before all of this came out. I'm pretty sure he was sending her creepy shit. I'm pretty fucking sure. Everyone who's messaged me has fucking told me a lot. And she knew what she was getting herself into, but she's okay with that because now he's getting her into high rollers and lining her pockets or whatever the fuck whatever payroll she's on. So it's weird to me. And like, I totally get that people messaged me in her defense saying, hey, it's just like this stream, it's all among friends. Sure, that's great. Like, I don't care what Phil Nagy does. It's like neither here nor there. I don't care. But if Vanessa was aware that he was like this before and he was treating her like this before, then it's kind of hypocritical for her to sign with ACR. And I know she was asking Gigi for more money, and I don't know what happened with that, but she's not with GG Poker anymore.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting, and I'm wondering if we can just kind of talk. I mean, like, if you like, a lot of the attention of this has sort of circled around Vanessa Cade, when it was in fact Phil Nagy who made a lot of the pretty,
Okay, so those
had the poor behavior.
Okay,
so I'm just
let's
curious.
separate this.
Yeah.
Let's separate this.
Yeah.
Because there's misogyny, which clearly Dan Bilzerian has done, which clearly Phil Nagy does and has up until like last week, which clearly a lot of men fucking do. That's one thing. Yes, I'm not dismissing what Phil Nagy did. Do I give a shit? I don't. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Is it prevalent everywhere? Yeah, most places.
Yeah.
But like, I pick and choose my battles. It's not affecting me. I don't care about Phil Nagy. Yes, he's a misogynist. Yes, he's been caught doing this bad thing. Outside of that is what I'm talking. Vanessa's reaction, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm not going to dismiss what Phil Nagy did. Yes, he's a misogynist. And yes, he's going and apologizing to everyone. Great. Does that change that he was sliding into Vanessa's DMs or her friend and being pervy towards her? No.
Right.
It's just come to light now. Now he's apologizing.
Right. And so it's pretty much, so like, I'm just curious about like your why is Vanessa such an important topic or target? Her hypocrisy, why does that upset you more than
I
like
just
the
made one.
misogyny
I
in
just made
general?
one tweet. I probably wouldn't have. I thought it was just hypocritical of her.
Yeah.
I've done work for GG Poker. They've been amazing to work with. I'm not just fucking saying that. I'm not on their payroll. Like, I legitimately enjoy working with GG Poker. They've given me more opportunities than I deserve. Like, I've done Polish content for them, and my Polish is horrendous at this point in my life. But like, I met with the person who runs GG Poker and like legitimately like the most, platonic interaction I've ever had with a person. They're like hyper aware of this kind of stuff. I haven't had any issues. So to me, it was like, oh, it's a little bit hypocritical. That's all. Cause
Yeah.
she went fucking hard on GG in
she did.
when Bilzerian got signed, really fucking hard. And one of GG's employees, a female employee, emailed Vanessa, and Vanessa like published the email and fucking came down on her. And I just thought it was at the time, I just like stepped back. I thought like, okay, it's fair that Vanessa wants to take down this misogyny. That was her thing to do at that time. I'll call it out if it happens to me or whatever, if I think there's something wrong. But then to have this like soft reaction and then to block me just because I challenge her because I'm not on like the like anything Vanessa says I do train. I think feminism is important, but like it doesn't mean that if I feel you're wrong, I'm just going to agree with you.
Right.
I'm kind of curious, Veronica. I know this is, everybody has to make the decision for themselves and how they react to these sorts of things. I'm not asking you to tell Rec Poker what to do, but I'm kind of curious your perspective on, for those of us who are in the poker industry who are trying to build vibrancy and trying to build an encouraging community and trying to, be all inclusive for all people. And we see things like, like Nagy's comments, or we see things like Bilzerian's, and we have opportunities to either partner with those people in some way or not. Like, I think there's a lot of conflicted feelings out there with us and with others who have these either existing relationships or potential relationships. And we want to, part of us is like, well, like you're saying, well, who cares? That's up to them to do. But yet it feels like there's complicity in the partnership, and I'm kind of curious, like, what your take is on that. Like, how what is your perspective on how to view these sorts of things? When I see that, I can't look at that Nagy's comments and say, I don't give a crap. That's his thing. Like, you're wired that you can do that. I can't. I look at that and say that is a detriment to society and a detriment to the poker industry.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't a detriment,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to go on Twitter and
Right.
just like make it my agenda for the next week.
But you can say, yeah, I overspoke that, but you can kind of say, hey, that's his deal. I hate what he's doing, but it's not going to be my battle to fight.
Yeah, I mean, like, I only have the capacity for so much.
Absolutely, I get it. I'm a humanitarian, and I know you have to pick a couple things to do. You can't do it all, but like what sort of insight would you have for people, or what would be your perspective on people that are considering partnerships with, or they're in existing partnerships with people that are kind of doing these non-inclusive, detrimental things?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, I mean, is the correct answer? I don't know.
No, that's a perfectly legitimate answer.
It is like an easy thing to say, like the top 5 call outs that everyone uses. But I don't know what it is. Like, if I look at your panel, right, do I see anyone of color or a woman besides me, your guest, right?
Right.
I mean, like, it's just prevalent everywhere. And I don't know, like GG Poker, I don't work for them. I swear to God, I'm not getting paid for this shit. But GG Poker hired some women to oversee basically their entire production to see, where can they identify if there's any sexism, if this kind of happened, I think shortly after they hired Dan Bilzerian. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
I just think so. Okay, if you want to get into this, I think I responded to like Doug Polk and all these male poker players who were talking about women, and like Doug was saying, like, women want to be treated equally, so I'm going to treat them equally. Well, yes, we want to be treated equally, but if you look at how women are treated equally at the table, but if you look at all the poker training sites, look at this group. What men tend to do is congregate together, share ideas together, grow together. If they want to sleep with a woman, she can be included in the group and she can gain some of that information. But there's very few groups of men. I call out Saul for a while all the time. I'm like, where's the women here? Where, like, are the only women you guys keep here are the ones you're sleeping with? Like, I don't think that's true, but like, I still don't see men being inclusive with women platonically and sharing information and creating growth. Like, you see all of these businesses forming by groups of men, and women are left out of that completely. And so I think I think maybe men need to look at women platonically more. And it's kind of like one of my things when I go to date someone, I ask, do you have girls who are your friends? Like, can you have relationships that don't include your penis with women? If you can't, then I don't want to date you. I think it's good to have business partners, to ask women their opinions, and just inclusion. I don't know if does that answer your question? I don't know.
Not directly, but indirectly. I mean, I think the idea of being inclusive, I think, is huge. I'm a big fan of that. I know you look at the panel here, you're not seeing it represented here. It's something that we do strive for. But I think just in general, I think just as coming out of the Fortune 500 background, decisions are better when there's inclusivity. Like when you get different perspectives, when you get men and women and gay and straight and old and young and,
Right.
experienced and non-experienced, you make better decisions, if you're going to be completely selfish about it, beyond just being inclusive. So I love that. I mean, I think the question was more around, what do those of us do that are seeking or being considered for or involved in partnerships with groups that are not inclusive or misogynistic? How do we wrestle through that question? But I mean, you answered the question great. I think being inclusive ourselves is the first step, but I think there is a wrestling with, what do we do? I mean, even with Rec Poker, but I'm sure there's others out there going, what do we do here? We have, some of these relationships that exist with people that are now doing things that we think are sending the wrong message to society and to the poker community. How do we reconcile that? And so I think you're just meeting us at a time where we're kind of wrestling with that ourselves.
Yeah, and I think like if you look at game theory, poker in general is a mathematical game, and my generation of women, I feel like such like a boomer. I'm like, my generation, but when I was younger, I was like pushed into home economics. I was pushed into nursing.
Right.
I liked other things. I liked woodworking, and I liked, computers, and my brother's computer science class, he's older than me, he didn't have that many women. And now more and more women are going into mathematics and computer science and engineering. And I think that the likelihood of them enjoying poker and then being introduced to poker will be higher, and we'll probably have a next generation of poker players that include more women. I'm hopeful. But I also think that will take groups of men who are playing poker to have women included in their platonic poker groups where they're sharing information and talking hands and strategy.
Well, just to follow up, I just want to thank you for your insights. I mean, I know Jim's going to shift gears. We're going to talk a little bit about Cleeton, but I think one of the things that you said early on in the interview was, sort of, you mentioned regret. You didn't specifically say I regret bringing this to light with Postle, but all of this that's happened over the last couple of years, the misery has given you a platform. Including our conversation today, which I don't know if we would have been having otherwise. And I think the fact that you are using that to bring awareness, bring insight, like you're doing right now, to all of us, I think is a great outcome from that. So I just want to commend you again. I know you've been through a few years of absolute hell with what's going on there, but I am grateful that you are taking this road with it to actually help and inform and help all of us make better decisions and be a better society. So just kind of a quick.
I feel like you're giving me way too much credit. I just
probably I do that. I do that from time to time. But no, Veronica. Okay, here's the deal. All right, so like you say, if you want to get into this, a lot of people don't do that. All right, so maybe you feel like you're getting too much credit. That's probably what makes you great in this, because you're recognized that you're maybe could be doing more, that you're not doing enough, whatever that is. It's that humility of that. I'm here to tell you, and you guys all know people that have been through hell and they don't come out of it on the other side of it trying to make the world a better place. They get stuck in it, they get lost in it, which is really, really sad, or they get so angry they are of no good. you are angry, right? As your Twitter feed says, but I think it's a constructive anger. And so, yeah, I'm not trying to pander to the guests. I don't do that. But for you specifically, I want you to hear that from at least from the Rec Poker Nation, the recreational players who are not as close to all of this as you are. We are just trying to play the game that we love. And then we see some schmuck piss on the whole thing and make everything look bad. And now my mom is like saying, you play poker with these people? You know, I mean, you are out there trying to turn the tide a little bit. And I just want to say thanks. I know it's one good thing that came out of what's been a really tough couple of years. So I do want to commend you for that.
I appreciate that. And that kind of also makes me, that's really kind of you to say. And that also makes me, because I think I get stuck in my own head about this whole thing. And you reflect on things differently as time passes. And my reflection has become a little bit more negative each day. Mm-hmm. And to hear that kind of resets things and reminds me of a bigger picture outside of my own experience that, you know, we helped get this guy off the table and you know, we helped a poker community.
Yeah,
so.
if any of you have seen the morning show on Apple TV, I mean, you're the truth teller, right? And that's something that not all of us have the guts to do. So thanks for that.
Thanks.
Jim? Jim is muted. Jim is playing the part of a mime at this point. Well, I'll see if he comes back on. I saw a red light flash. Nope, no luck. Well, I'm gonna go down a direction.
Steve's doing this. He
I've got him
likes
muted.
The sound of his own voice.
Oh my gosh, yeah, especially today. I just love feeling like I don't know what I sound like.
I thought we were going to turn this into a feminist podcast, and we were all going to put on our vagina hats.
Nice.
And,
you didn't know. I didn't get
mine. Did you guys bring yours?
No.
I've got a few hats here, not that one.
Jim, you're on again.
Jim.
No.
Okay, there we go. No, I don't have my vagina hat. What the heck? Look behind me. Is it one of those? No, I don't see it.
You know what? I'm getting the fuck off this podcast. I really thought we were all. I brought my vagina hat, and
well,
we disappoint guests all the time, Veronica, so it won't be a
No, but yeah. Veronica, one of the I did want to touch on because Kim Kilroy, who's on our Wrecking Crew, we actually host a monthly conversation about poker empowerment and how to get people more comfortable at tables. And the one point that I really liked you bring up there is that people focus on what's happening at the tables, not being rude, you know, not being a jerk at the tables, but really the action that we need to focus on, the behavior that we need to change is what happens when you're not at the poker table, when you're with your friends, when you're in the locker room, when you're working with your buddies or whatever it is. Like, that's the culture that we need to change. And if we can make some steps in that direction, then you're going to see more women feeling comfortable at the poker table, because it's not really about the poker table.
I agree. And I appreciate you guys even being open to talking about it. And, you know, it's always nice when men are also feminists. And that, I think, just wanting to start the conversation and being interested in equality is, I think, a really big thing. So it makes me feel good to know that men are aware of what's going on.
Cheers. And I'll tell KL Cleeton that it's not just Canadians either, but yeah, that is fun. Thank you, KL.
Well, we try, and we're not trying to make this about us, but we know we try. We've done panels with women in poker. We've asked many people to join the panel, but they didn't want to. And so we do have work to do. No question.
Steve, you've seen a woman before?
I have. I have several women friends, I'll have you know, Veronica. And I thought maybe you were going down that path of being one of them, but that's done.
Off the table. So I want to keep talking about villains, though. We've talked about some really despicable people in poker, and there's one that tops the list. Clearly just one of the worst people in the poker world. You know, I'm talking about KL Cleeton. I've known him for a while. I search for redeeming qualities with this young man, and
None.
it's just an empty barrel. Can you talk a little bit about how you got roped into this whole mess?
Yeah, I hate his guts. The
Fair.
whole point. I mean, think about my strategy here. Think about what I do to get the whales to Vegas. Do you know my dedication? I feel like no one appreciates how dedicated I am to bring these terrible poker players, because this is an investment. Okay, so yeah, it looks like over $80,000. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but think about how much we're going to get back. You know, when he gets to the table,
oh man,
I'm going to stack him so many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, like I'm WhaleBait. No one
Your
brings in
chum.
more whales to Vegas than I do. I work hard, so you're all welcome.
We call you the chum.
I am
Yeah,
a
this-
chum.
The poker ecosystem thanks you so much for this. Yes.
It is an ocean. It is an ocean.
Well, let's make sure that we know what we're talking about for everybody in Rec Poker Nation. And most of you heard the story, but we're talking about the van, right?
Yeah.
talking
So
about the 80s,
KL is bright, handsome, has a ponytail now, like that fucking man bun. I told him we're gonna have sex this winter. So I had him on my show, and I found out that he doesn't have a means of transportation, and not trying to come off as a fucking saint or anything, because I'm not, but I was just really fucking bothered that I can just get in my fucking car, that I can just go places, that I can just do that. And he can't. Why the fuck not? And so the problem was that when I initially decided to start this campaign, COVID just hit. And like people were starting to die. The economy was starting to go downhill. People were losing their jobs. And I was like, hey, everybody, we need to raise $75,000. And so it kind of didn't go far. I think we raised $11,000. Chaos in the chat. I think you can confirm. It was around $11,000, like the first year, or like less than a year. And then I was like, okay, once the World Series of Poker announced their schedule, or that they were going to have a World Series of Poker. I know Steve from GG Poker's like, hey, they're going to announce it. Like, you can't say anything, but they're going to announce it. I'm like, oh, so I was like, okay, the only thing on my mind was like, we need to get KL there, cause I want to stack him and take his money, but it was just like, fuck, I need to get him there. So it was always in the back of my mind, like, I need to do something. What do I need to do? And so I was initially thinking we'd probably raise around $5,000. And I would have to do a fundraiser like every month. Little did I know, I had no idea. I don't have no idea how Phil Hellmuth, I know how Phil Hellmuth ended up on there as Danielle Moon. Thank you. I'm forever grateful to her. I fucking adore Danielle Moon. But like the amount of money that we raised in one day, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but we roasted the shit out of KL, and I got roasted too. But it was like such a good show. It was such a fun show to watch. I don't know if you guys watched it. But
I caught a bit. It was really good.
Yeah.
and just like Phil Hellmuth showing up, I was like, the apex predator of poker is on my YouTube channel. What the fuck? You guys know his little apex predator.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, I remember calling up, I just called up Bill Perkins, because
as
I
one
feel like
does.
such a fucking, I feel like such a
As one
douchebag, right?
does, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'm kind of the person who's like, okay, I need to get KL a van. I don't give a shit who I piss off. Like I need the end justifies the means, right? So I called up Bill Perkins and I was like, look, I'm going to give you back a lot of the legal fund that you gave me. But before I do that, I need you to listen to me. He's like, what? And I was like, I want to get KL a van, and I would like for you to contribute some money. And I don't want it to be like $2,000. I want you to contribute some money. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, if you raise 25,000, I'll match up to 25,000. And so I raised we ended up raising like 55,000. And it actually ended up costing the van, KL, you're in the chat, I think it cost like around $90,000. So we're still a little short, but we're finagling it a bit. We had some later donors. I might do one more kickoff party. I was also thinking like, hey, Mike Postle owes me $27,000. I might sell my debt.
Whoa.
I might sell my
There you go.
debt.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, and then give KL that money.
And
So
Veronica, I believe I donated a database review or something, and you're telling me that for that whole show, no one offered to buy that service and donate that money to KL's van? I don't believe that's true. I can't believe it. That's amazing that that one didn't fly off the shelf. But tell you what, you make sure to make that available for that next one, just in case. Add a little chum to the prize pool. See if anybody bites.
Well, I think, I've
Right.
I've done fundraising a lot over the years, and there's money out there. There's money out there, and that's where I think, what you tapped into, and hopefully you can get the other 10, or we can get involved or whatever too. But if you can cast that vision, somebody like KL, despite who KL is, people still want to
how
be
horrible he is.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. You raised $80,000 despite. Just think if he had a personality and he had integrity like this. 1,000, but no. I mean, my point being, I think people. I think inherently most people want to be good. They want to contribute, and I think again, it's you created a conduit for people to do that. So
I will tell you, and I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass here, and I'm fucking honest when I say this. The poker community is amazing. Like, I raised like $27,000 for my legal fees in like 4 hours. KL was actually on the call with me, and I was like crying when he was telling me. I think KL remembers that. But yeah, so the poker community just came out in full force for KL, and it was amazing. There is money out there. There are a lot of rich whales, including KL now. So
So I want to have some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is, as of this moment right now, there is a bounty series at this Run Good series. Anything I win there, I am going to donate to the KL Cleeton Van Fund.
John Somsky.
The bad news is I'm not a very good poker player, likely to be 0. But whatever I do win will be there.
That
that's amazing. Maybe why don't you just donate the buy-ins? That'd probably be a better EV.
That's a better investment. That's going to work out better for KL. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, John. Veronica, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say poker's a game of luck, only luck. So John, let's hope for you.
That is awesome, John Somsky. Veronica, I don't know if you know this. He is known widely as the nicest guy in poker, and it's legit. Like, he is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. So that is amazing. He's right in the room with me too. That's why I keep.
Yeah, I can tell there's an echo. He was in the room with someone.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you guys are lovers. How long has this been?
Well, it's platonic. I heard that it's okay to have male friends that are not sexual. Is that right?
Now. I mean, I have heard.
I'm so confused, Veronica. Can I have male friends or not? Like, I don't know. I'm so confused. Will you date me if I have male friends? I'm so confused. I don't know. I'm going to be married 30 years. I'm trying to date you. I'm supposed to have women friends. I can't have male friends.
You know what? I'm here for your poly lifestyle. I support it.
Thank you, Veronica. That's all I needed to hear. Was that so hard? Just say that. Thank you so much.
It was not hard. I appreciate you. You guys are fucking making me want to drink.
Yeah, there you go.
It took a while.
Yes.
I feel really good that it took you an hour to want to drink. So that's pretty good.
I'm ready for
I wanted to.
2.
I wanted to be coherent for while I insulted KL.
Right.
I wanted those words to be clear.
Yeah.
Well, and if you guys, I know you guys have been listening to the show for a while. You know KL Cleeton. If you're just kind of tuning in, you don't know who it is that we're talking about. KL Cleeton, his name. He's part of the Learn Pro Poker team, but Range Trainer Pro is his baby. So look him up. Let us know if you can't find him for any reason, but look him up. Range Trainer Pro, fantastic tool for learning the game, and he's just a fantastic dude that we've had a lot of fun with.
He's a very brilliant guy, and it really and like, despite his IQ, like I don't measure people's IQ on a regular basis, but like, talking to KL, he's a brilliant guy. Yeah. It just like saddened me that he couldn't fucking get to the series, like that he just couldn't get places. Like, it just saddens me. Like, this brilliant guy should be at the poker table. Like, he needs an opportunity to win a fucking bracelet. Like, you don't need only sad old women like me there, See, this is why, it's going to sound pandering again, but this is why the world needs people like you, Veronica, because you are a truth teller, and you see something, and I'm only saying this because I want to inspire other people that are out there, including myself. You see a wrong and you want to right it. Like, that is what you're doing. You see the Postle thing. I don't know. I got involved. It was just wrong. I had to fix it. I see KL thing with the van. I just had to fix it.
this is not right. And I think if the world was filled with more of those kind of people that had that perspective, and again, we know you're not a saint, we know all that stuff, but that's inspirational. You guys, if you're taking anything out of this podcast, look for what's wrong in your world around you and go fix it. If you have an old lady next to you that can't shovel the snow in the winter in Minnesota, shovel it, fix it.
I agree with that.
Just do it. And if we all do our part, the world is better. We don't need to all have these glorious sort of things. We all don't need to put ourselves through 2 years of hell like you did. Just what's wrong in your world and fix it. Be the change you want to see.
I 100% support and agree with that.
That's all we wanted. We could have ended this an hour ago. If you just would agree with me about one point, we could have moved on with our lives. That's all I've ever wanted is people to agree with me.
And how many years has it been with your wife? And she hasn't yet, right?
30 in August. And I'm still waiting for her to agree with me. That's why I got to stick with it. I mean, it's, the love has been gone a long time, but I got to stick with this because at one point I'm going to hear that she agrees with me. Come hell or high water.
Steve can't even tell that I'm pandering to him, can he?
I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, are you kidding me? Yes, I can. I am pretty oblivious generally, though. That is true.
I'm just kidding. I agree with you, Steve.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've covered a ton of ground here, you guys, and a lot of different topics. What else do we want to pick Veronica's brain on? Or Veronica, is there anything that you're kind of thinking, man, here's your opportunity? I know you do a lot of things to a lot of people that are really involved in the poker industry. We have a lot of people that play a lot of poker, even at higher levels, but a lot of our folks are people that maybe have never heard of you, that have never maybe met you, that are first time experiencing.
I guarantee you 99% of your fans have no fucking clue who I am.
Well, they're about to. So
Yeah.
that you were still.
And
you
if
so,
they
you
for
understand yourself
$4.99, I can send them a topless pic. No, just kidding.
Is that $4.99 or is that $499? Like our people are going to want to know. But no, like what else?
No.
What else do you want to kind of share with these folks? The Rec Poker Nation, the folks that are out there, just they're working full time. A lot of us, and they're playing in the bars, they're playing home games, they're trying to get to the casino to play a little bit here. Poker's not their whole life, but they love it. They want to keep loving the game. What do you have to say to Rec Poker Nation?
I mean, poker's one of those games I think that you have to love. And hearing you say that your fans love the game, I think is like the most important aspect of poker. If you're going into poker, I don't know if you guys watched my video of the latest documentary that came out, To Be Determined, on poker.
Right.
Did you guys watch that?
I watched a little bit of it. Chris, did you see the whole thing? Chris usually.
Yeah, I watch the whole thing. I really enjoyed it.
I heard great things about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's the right documentary. I think it's the wrong main character. And where that main character went wrong was he was very flat and he didn't have a passion for poker that I could tell. He had a passion for not working a 9 to 5. He had a passion for getting rich quick. And so as long as you're looking at poker as something that you love, as a game that's challenging to you, as a game that like makes you happy when you're at the table, then I think you should be playing it and hopefully trying to get better. If you're just recreational and you want to go there, have fun, great. But like, like that main character in the documentary, it was just sad to see someone in poker full-time professionally who didn't seem like he loved the game and was passionate about the game. So I admire when people love the game, and that's when you should be playing.
The interesting thing, well, and I guess
Jim is just like you're not loud, but you're physically loud. Like I can see you just reacting to everything. Like, yeah, like you're at a concert. I love it.
He's Canadian, so he's not really allowed to verbalize how
Canadian
he feels.
too. I'm getting sworn in on Saturday, guys.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
that
Becoming
right?
American.
Good for you. Enjoy
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
So you better take another drink.
Where are you
Yes.
from, Jim? Where are you from in Canada?
I grew up in Toronto, but I fell in love on the East Coast, and now I live in a little town called Cobourg.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up in Edmonton.
Oh, that's where my dad grew up. Oh, no
Yeah.
kidding. And for everyone
the-
else, no, there's a lot of cities in Canada, for God's sake. It's
Yeah,
just
we
a
thought there was only one.
coincidence. Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky. That's
Wayne
all I have to say. And
I
then
was a big
everyone's like,
Oilers
oh, yeah, I
fan.
know Edmonton.
Yeah.
Does Edmonton have a town crier? Because Cobourg has a town crier. I found out when I was up there. Like
We have a town dancer. There was a guy who used to dance on the west end of the city, like literally every day on this one corner in Collingwood.
Oh, No,
Yeah,
this is
so
like
we
a
have to-
recognized position in the city, a town crier.
Oh yeah,
What?
it's a municipal
thank you.
post. Da, 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 da. Hear ye, all ye gathered. You know,
Like a
official
real thing.
Does he get
proclamations and
paid
such.
for
Oh yeah,
this?
there's a stipend.
No.
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
into that kind of stuff. That's too much government waste.
That's big
No,
government.
taxes are too
Oh,
high.
you were born in Edmonton. Listen to you. You are an Alberta girl.
I'm a liberal, don't get me wrong, but I'm a capitalist liberal. I
There you
believe in
go.
social safety nets and regulation, but I don't want a town crier. I don't want to pay for a town crier. Wouldn't you rather that money goes to like a nurse or somebody, like have an extra staff member at the local hospital?
I think it's actually it's like a foundation or something that funds it.
Oh, okay, good.
Hopefully it's not coming out of the
Some
hospital
crusty
budget.
old person's money, right?
That's,
Yeah.
that's usually what it is. A
Yeah.
historical society or something.
And it's Canadian dollars, so it's not much.
Yeah, it's like 20 cents a day. I got it.
Yeah,
no,
that's
you know
right.
what? You know what you get? You get a
like a
Molson
heel
Canadian.
of bread and
You get a Molson Canadian
Nice,
Grolsch.
nice. Yeah, that's
and
it.
some
Case of
poutine
Grolsch.
or something.
Poutine. Nice. Mr. Jones, did you have something to throw in there?
No, I'm good. We're past it now. Let's.
No, we're staying here for a few more hours.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
we
started
booked
drinking.
it.
He just started drinking. Yeah.
What are you guys fucking talking about? We're going all the way with this one.
Oh my God. Well, Veronica, no, honestly, we do want to respect your time, but this has been fantastic to meet you. I do want to send you some money and get some pair of those rabbit
Oh yeah,
ears,
put those ears
or,
up.
or the bunny. What are they actually?
So I'll send you the girls'
Please,
Instagram,
yeah.
and they're $25.
Yeah, please do.
And then I want a picture. You have to tell her what you want because she makes them custom.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm absolutely going to get some, and I will wear them, and I will send you a picture.
These
no
are a
question.
really pretty color. I think these would look great on you.
Do you think
like a
light blue is
aqua
kind of my
kind of-
thing? Yeah.
I mean, I think pink
I
is
mean-
fine too.
I might need some Viking purple, but maybe those are too dark. I don't know.
Viking purple sounds.
I bet they can
like-
do it.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think you
good.
should.
All right, that
Yeah.
sounds good. Well, guys, let's Veronica. Any other final words, man? We appreciated having you on here. Anything else you want to share?
I appreciate being brought onto this misogynist show.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
You guys
We're
have
tr-
treated me very unfairly and mansplained everything to me. So
Okay, because now what we're gonna do?
Check.
Right.
now, well, actually, Veronica,
Yeah,
what we
well,
actually
well,
did.
no, that's not actually true.
Yeah,
What we did here is we had a very fair interview. Now, maybe you didn't notice that, but when you watch the recording, you'll see. Oh, it's just gross.
God.
All right. Well, we'll let you go. We're going to do some community events, Veronica. You can knock out of here, but thank you so much. People want to connect. I know angry_Pollock. I always say Pollock.
A
Angry
Pollock.
Well, 'cause that's what it
Pollock
looks
is like
You-
a skin
you-
tag,
you
isn't it? Like
You spelled
Bart
the word
Hansen.
wrong.
Bart Hansen used to call me Angry Pollock, and
Right.
I was like, I'm not a skin tag, Bart. Like, where are you getting this pronunciation? Angry
Well, you need to
Pollock.
spell the word Pollock right. I mean, it just that's not
Why do
right
you
the
say
way you spell
Pollock?
Pollock.
Minnesota.
Angry Pollock.
It's
Oh,
Minnesota, Veronica.
Minnesota.
You're banging your head against a wall. I've been
I
banging it
am.
against for years.
Okay,
Just give up.
colors.
Hey,
Hey,
have a
do
little
you wanna-
honor, sir.
Hey, do you want to drop a little Polish on us? Can you say welcome to the Rec Poker Podcast in Polish or no?
Co byś chciał, żebym powiedziała po polsku? Dzień dobry ludzi do Rec Poker Podcast. I don't know.
Hey.
Like, it's
Sweet.
not-
All right.
Anybody believe her that Achievement was close? I don't,
So-
she doesn't make it at all.
Now I found my new ringtone.
I used to go to Poland almost every summer as a child, and I haven't been involved in a Polish community for years. And I've lived in the States, I think now 13 years. So it's been a long time. I grew up with a Polish community, went to Polish school. And then GG Poker's like, hey, you want to do some Polish content? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking fluent. And then I realized, holy shit, it's been so long since I've actually spoken Polish. And if I spent like 3 months in Poland, I'd be back and it'd be fine. But like, oh my God, it was
Yeah.
so brutal. So it was supposed to be a 2-part recording. They canceled the second part. They were like, no, we're good. Like, I understand. It's okay. I
Thanks for your
appreciate the
time.
opportunity. Like, thanks, guys. Like, like I said, GG Poker's been more than wonderful to me with giving me opportunities. So
Yeah, I love it. Well, delightful. Thank you. We'll be in touch. If you have trouble connecting with Veronica, let us know.
I feel
We'll
like
get you
Steve and I
connected.
just had a one night stand and he's like calling an Uber for me.
Yeah, she's had too much to drink. Yeah, can you help me out? I think we're done here.
All right, guys, have a good night.
All right, Veronica.
Thank you,
We'll be in touch. Take
Veronica.
care.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Oh my gosh, that was fun. All right, guys.
Oh.
What's sticking with you?
Where do you begin there?
I
That was
know.
great. That was a great interview.
That was
It
fun.
really was. It was really wide ranging. She's been so involved in so many different parts of poker in the past few years. I mean, she's been kind of a centerpiece to it. So it was just fun to talk to her about all that stuff.
And I'm just glad we finally get the truth out about KL Cleeton because,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he's put up this facade of being this nice guy for too long, and I'm not going to stand for it. You know,
That was very
Yeah.
cleansing.
I
Yeah.
feel better. I feel
It's
like
good.
I got it off my
the
chest.
more people who confirm just how much of a villain he really is, it's
Yeah.
it's good. It's
Yeah,
good for the
biggest
whole
bluff.
for
Even if he does know a good Canadian beer like Moosehead, I
Yeah.
still you're a jerk, Kale.
Yeah, I'm just
Rotten
really
hell.
glad that she doesn't know me. Otherwise, I might be exposed as well. You know, Al Cleeton, I'm next.
Well, my wife Tracy has never listened to the podcast, so I'm hoping this isn't the one that she chooses to listen to because I might not make 30. I only got
Yeah,
2
you
more
gotta
months
make
is
a
all I
couple
need
months
to reach
still.
30. I know.
Oh, well, I'm not going to mention the silver fox with the white logo this week then
Right.
either, because I don't want to get you in any extra trouble. But
Oh, my
everyone should
gosh.
go check out the YouTube version of this if
Yeah,
they want to
that
see
was.
it.
She's
Handsome
funny, boy. She is.
Yeah.
She was funny. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. for
Well, guys,
sure.
should we hear what Jonathan Little has to say, and then we'll kind of get to some of our community happenings?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Jim.
Have
all
you ever
man.
wondered
Thanks.
whether you should call a preflop raise or 3-bet instead? What do you do when you have a flush draw? Do you raise it or do you just call? What do you do with ace king when you miss the flop? Are you tired of guessing about what the right play is with your particular hand? Well, my name is Jonathan Little, and I am a 2-time World Poker Tour champion and creator of PokerCoaching.com, where we offer over 1,000 interactive hand quizzes where you play a hand and then get real-time feedback from our world-class pros. Don't guess and don't stress. Just register for your free account at PokerCoaching.com/recpoker right now.
And again, Jonathan, I was talking to him just the other day. He said that you get a money back guarantee if you don't think it was good value. So go to PokerCoaching.com/recpoker and take him up on it. Good guy.
Check it out. Love it. Well, as we mentioned at the outset and kind of glossed over pretty quick to get to Veronica, we are a few of us. John, right over there. I see John right over there.
Amazing.
Hi, John.
Amazing.
We have Dave Barker, Carl Woodington's going to be here. Andrew Feist is going to be here. Joe Bernard. I know we've got George Stanford, Bob Waters. Who else said that they're going to be? A bunch of people said they're going to be down here. We're down in Iowa. And we made the road trip down to the Run Good Poker Series, and we kick off tomorrow morning with the seniors event, a bounty tournament, and then throughout the week. So by the time you hear this, it'll be over. So hopefully we have some hardware we're bringing home. The great offer by John Somsky there, which is super, super cool for KL. But that's where we are. So things look a little bit different. They maybe sound a little different because a couple of us are on remote. But with that, John, what do you say about home games, man? You want to give us some updates?
Absolutely, and I'll start by interrupting myself. On the way down here, on the drive down, we drove down together with Steve, and he says, I mean, I can tell you, he talked the entire time. That's why his voice is changed. But I did get one question in to him on the way down, and that question was, what are some of your favorite rec poker times? What are your favorite things from being involved with them? And some obvious ones, some of the past podcasts, and our Rec Poker Day at Running Aces was in there. But I have a feeling if I were to ask that question right now, I might get another entry into that particular answer to that question right now. So great podcast.
Would you say, so my answer would be the ride down with John Somsky to Iowa?
Well, of course, that's what I was talking
Obviously.
about. No, I of course mean the interview with Veronica Brill.
That was super fun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, well, let's get to the important things. And The important thing. That sounded really bad. I just feel.
Hey, John, what part of Rec Poker are you in charge of again? Oh, it's this part. It's this part that's coming up. Okay.
Yeah,
important thing.
exactly.
This is the important thing segment.
All of the rest of this was just filler, and now we're getting to what everyone really wants to hear, which is, of course, who won the home games.
Pretty soon, we're just gonna be texting John when it's time for him to join for a home game update.
Yeah. Well, you'll make me sit there and wait just like we do with Jonathan Little. Okay, so for the Daily Series Tournament of Champions that was played on June 14th, none other than Gloves 1010 won the Tournament of Champions
Silver
to
Pin
win
Club.
a silver pin. And
Nice
this
job,
is his
Colin.
second silver pin.
Wow.
What?
He is
Yeah.
the first two-time
That's an
silver pin
embarrassment
winner.
of riches.
No
I know.
asterisk.
Save some for the rest of us.
And
No
not only did
asterisk.
he win the pin this year, but he technically won his previous pin last year, so he actually gets both pins. You know, you're only allowed to win one a year.
Oh.
Right.
But now he's
I
going
do
to be
not
our
think
first two
that
pins.
is going to be replicated for a very long time.
Gonna be tough.
Well, I mean,
Gonna
the
be
only
tough.
player on this panel who has a silver pin is the worst one among us.
It's
so-
true. It's true by a long
Asterisk.
Hashtag asterisk.
Well, yeah.
Asterisk. Yeah. I thought I was going to get another asterisk this past week with my double buy. Oh, we'll get to that a little later, but didn't quite work out that way. Sorry, I'll let you get up another full head of steam, John, then we'll come right back
Okay,
in and
yeah,
cut
you
you out
can-
of the knees. Yep.
Yep. But anyway, really impressive. Congratulations, Colin.
All in.
Then for our nightly series, a big deal 1992 won his or her first nightly series victory. Uncle Tom's Cabin, Jeff S., got his third for the year. That's quite impressive.
Nicely done.
And then the name that I can never pronounce is Ma. Spike got his third victory for the year. Captain Walleye, Rob Ansem got his third for the year as well.
One
Seventh
of the good ones.
lifetime victory in
Nicely
the Daily
done.
Series.
Nicely done, Rob.
Then, of course, now I have to say it again.
Yep.
Inma Spike.
Oh, it's different this time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't the
Flipped
same
it
one
around
as
there.
last time.
Try
He's still
something new.
no, he's workshopping it.
Before, when I said he got his third, that was actually his second. This one is his third for the year.
Okay. All right. Nicely
And
done, Spike.
Dewey 13 Stuart Carriage. Is that how you pronounce that?
I think
Carriage?
that's it. Carriage.
Okay.
Yep.
Got his fifth nightly series victory this year.
And it was on the last night before he moved into his new house. So I don't know if I'm breaking news to the world, but congratulations, Stu. And good luck on let's getting the new place all set up. I'm excited for you.
Well, you know, I don't think anyone could ever have a better housewarming gift than that. Than
Right?
winning a Rec Poker Daily Series free money tournament.
How could you even imagine something more
Exactly.
exciting? Yeah, it really made it. It really gave him something to celebrate that day.
Yeah, exactly. And then on to our this is I'm not going to be able to finish. On to our mixed games. Ace Booyah Greg won the mixed Daily Series event for the week. And international events, East Coast bidder Ben
Nicely done,
got
Ben.
his fifth international series victory, and
Way to take
technically
it
he's
down.
Canadian, so it even makes
It
sense.
really was. It really was international.
Exactly. And then Hunter H.
Oh,
1017 Hunter Hawes got his first international victory for the year.
well played, Hunter.
And then we are on to our LPP Sunday event. Diabolicu, David Admonson got his first victory. So be sure to go ahead and contact Jim Reed, and then he will get you in touch so you can get your free month at Learn Pro Poker.
Congratulations, David. Be in touch.
And the last but definitely not least, we had our very first heads up event for our daily series. And Kelly S. 1962-20, Kelly Stork, was the victor in that event and will be participating in Marek Madness in 2022.
And
So
John,
congratulations, Kelly.
And John, she had to beat her way through quite a stiff field of competition, if memory serves. She took
Yeah,
me
although
out, and then she took you out.
Right.
But
Well, I
other
was
than
gonna say,
that, she had
was her
some stiff
softest game.
competition.
Yeah, she got a bye in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, just to give, so I mean, fantastic, Kelly. It's so fun to see her winning this stuff. She's just a delight. Anyway, but like I didn't have a chance to play the heads up tournament, but we were kind of going through on the way down when I let John talk. I'd asked him, like who he went through. Like he got to the championship, lost to Kelly in the championship, but John shared like who the people were that you encountered along the way, like this. And I know some of you guys don't know who all these people are, but in the home games, you'll know, like this was not a small feat. Like who were you up against in your different rounds, John?
So now I'm trying to remember the names of everyone, but the first one was Cabaluche. He's a new player from Brazil.
Oh.
He's won already 2 or 3 tournaments.
I know this player.
And when I got him as my first round, now he was late a little bit to the beginning tournament, and I was trying to kind of slow play to let him catch up. So, but that first match definitely has an asterisk because I probably had an extra couple hundred chips when it started, when he actually showed up for that, and I managed to win that one. I played Pet Vet, and evidently I luck boxed her. I played Wolfman. Got past that one, and then of course I had to play Kelly as well. I think there was someone else in there too, but I'm not remembering all of the matches. And unfortunately, I was gonna make this nice bracket so we could see who played who, but after the tournament is over, there's no way for me to gather the information of how the matches played out, who played who in the individual matches. So we don't have that information. But it was still an excellent event. If you have any feedback on how it went, any suggestions, things you liked, things you didn't like, go ahead and let me know. You can contact John at rec.poker. And we're looking forward. The next event for the Heads Up will be in September.
I was just so amazed. Like you guys have played the home game, so that Brazilian person is just taking it by storm. They're a crusher. And then you got Kim Kilroy, Pet Vet, who's won everything. He's fantastic. And then, Wolfman is Adam Wolf, who's ARW in the forums. And if you ever looked at any of his stuff, he's just a great thinker too. So it was impressive for John to run the gauntlet. So couldn't quite get it done. But way to go, John. Great feedback from people that have just loved the heads up idea. So hopefully there'll be more of that in our future. I know you're thinking about doing 2 of those a day. So probably next. All right, Mr. Jones, anything on the content side of things you want to go over?
I think we've covered most of it recently, but just a reminder that we're shifting gears with our focus series, our monthly study group, and we're going to be diving into the Inside the Mind of the Pro series. I think there's going to be some really good conversations on that. So if you missed the first one, you can still find it in our archive. And even if you want to just skip the first one, come to the next one, just have watched the episode that's posted in the forums there.
Awesome. How about you, Jim? Anything that either for you or some of the folks that aren't on the panel tonight that you want to bring up?
I guess I should say that just in the big picture, we're making some changes to the website. So we're releasing all our free videos on YouTube now. So some members were complaining that, it's too hard to tell which are the free videos and which ones are the premium videos. You guys put out so many videos. Is there a way to make it kind of easier to tell? So we listened. We're just putting all the free videos out on YouTube. So everyone should go to YouTube, look up the Rec Poker community and subscribe there. We put out videos 6 days a week. There is a new video between YouTube or our premium trading videos at Rec Poker. There's one going out 6 days a week to go check that out. And I was looking at the schedule because we're making some changes to the calendar. 5 days a week, there's a live opportunity to engage with other recreational poker players, whether it's in the evening or the afternoon. We're trying to do some stuff for different time zones. And that doesn't even count the home games. There's also home games, 10 of those a week. So go check all that out and go to YouTube and try more of those free videos there. We put out so much good stuff. We want everyone to be able to see it.
Yeah, and obviously we know that most people aren't going to be able to consume all of it. So it's really, we try to put stuff out there that's going to appeal to you. So find the stuff that you're interested in. If you're not sure what that is, get a hold of us and we can walk you through and maybe give you some advice on where to go. Rob isn't on here tonight, but the book study, Michael Acevedo, is another option for people that say, man, I'd love to read a book, but I'd love to read a book with other people and engage and kind of dissect it and take as long as we need to engage and kind of dig into that stuff. That's a great option as well. So a lot of really good stuff happening on there. Well, anything else, guys? Mr. Somsky?
I just wanted to point out that 10 is greater than 6 is greater than 5. So maybe that segment I was doing really is the most important of. Maybe not.
Math. Math is overrated. Somsky, yeah, and if that was only all you ever did, like he's got his hands in everything, man. He's fantastic. Well, anything else, guys? I know it's a long one, but Veronica was fantastic. We didn't want to cut that short, and I know we could have talked longer, but it was great stuff. Anything else we want to share? Bring up? All right, guys. Well, make sure you go to rec.poker. All right. Here's what we say every week, but check out the premium membership. I mean, free membership is great, but premium gets you a ton of stuff. You can even be part of this podcast. Like we had members on here tonight. If you're a premium member, you can actually be on the podcast, chatting, asking questions in the chat, all that kind of stuff. $5 for the first month. Go to rec.poker, sign up, use the code RECPOKER. It gets $10 off your first, whether you're monthly or annual. So it could be $5 for the first month. So please go check that out. But thank you to Veronica Brill, John Somsky, Chris Jones, Jim Reed. Fantastic stuff, you guys. Running Aces Casino, Racetrack, and Hotel, the best sponsor ever. Website, AMP, and the great Mark Bershon. We'll catch you guys all next week.